A lot of people say they want to do something, but if they don't have the passion and the conviction for it, they're never going to get to do it. And if they do get to do it, they're not going to be very successful at it.
We're here with Mike Kappitt. He's the Executive Vice President of Bloomin Brands and the President of Carrabba's Italian Grill. So welcome, Mike.
Yeah, thank you.
Glad to have you here. A lot of times people in marketing, they think about creativity as being the key to marketing, and they think of creativity, advertising, and they don't think about the business side, or they don't think about the financial side. Mm-hmm. How does your financial background help you when you're a marketer?
Yeah, well, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's the power of the and, right? Not the tyranny of the or. It's not one or the other. And, you know, for us, great marketing decisions, or great decisions in general, are typically driven by analysis, analytics, good information, sometimes bad information, but information. And so, you know, I've had the fortune of having spent time in more analytical roles, not in marketing, and certainly that background has helped me ask the right questions, synthesize information, and harness that information to make some great marketing decisions, but you know, I've made some not great marketing decisions too.
Do you feel like that's changing at all now, that there's more analysis out there, more analytics, or people at least are starting to pay attention to it more?
You know, I think people are more aware, particularly as more and more money shifts to digital. And you know, back even 15 years ago, when companies were starting to put money in digital, there weren't a lot of metrics, there weren't a lot of analytics. Companies like Burger King said, hey, we just know that's where our guest is. The analytics will catch up, and we'll figure out later if we're making good decisions or not. But if you're confident your customer is there, it's tough to make a really bad decision. And now the analytics around digital are more robust than the analytics around a lot of other mediums. And so, you know, we're incredibly enamored with those analytics and the ability to target with digital that you just don't have with traditional media. And so it's a huge part of how we make decisions every day.
Let's go on and talk a little bit about this idea of you're in a service industry where in restaurants you win the customer by creating this great experience, by having, you know, great product and a great atmosphere. And now, how does digital play a role in service industries now?
Yeah, you know, for us, and you're right, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. At the end of the day, if we don't provide great food and even better service, that we're done. It doesn't matter how good our marketing is, it doesn't matter how smart we are with our media spend. And so we have to be very focused on execution on both fronts, the food and the service. But, you know, what I love about the role that digital plays is how you can literally track it through the customer journey. From their planning, when they're thinking about what restaurant they want to go to and how digital helps us, you know, win them there, to when they get to the front door or even our parking lot. You know, if you use our app and you put your name on the wait list, the minute you hit our parking lot, we acknowledge that you're in the parking lot, and we ask you to check in. And then we know when you hit the front door. And then if you're a member of our loyalty program, that digital journey continues through and post. And then on the post, we even will ask you about your experience and make sure that you get your credit for your loyalty. And so it's incredibly important, and it's evolving every day, and it's becoming more and more acute on how we can interact with the guests, and in a way that isn't intrusive, because that's the rub, right? I mean, we want to be there, and we want to enable a great experience, but we don't want to get in the way either. And so it's a huge part of what we do every day.
I'm going to ask you about a decision that Carrabba's has made recently, a marketing decision, huge decision. And you announced a couple months ago that Carrabba's is going to add 50% more chicken to their signature dishes.
Yep.
And so, and obviously this is creating a lot more value for customers. There's, in a world right now where we're seeing shrinking package sizes, shrinking value to customers, how is it that you can justify this, not just from the marketing side, which of course it makes sense, customers are going to love this, but how do you justify this from the financial business side of this marketing decision?
Yeah, well, you know, I have to tell you, for us, it wasn't a marketing decision, it was a business decision. And then we had to decide how marketing was going to help support that and bring it to life for the guests. And turn it into a compelling message that drove traffic. And that's how we pay for it, right? If we can drive the traffic, the incremental traffic to pay for the investment in the chicken, then it's a win-win for everybody. And it really starts with listening to the consumer, which is all of the analytics around consumer insights. And the guests were telling us that over time they noticed that we had taken away stuff from them. And one of the things that they really complained about was the amount of chicken that they were getting in their pasta dishes. And we have to listen to our guests, and we have to give them what they want. We have to make it mutually beneficial. And for us, it was a must. We had to invest in the guest. We have 3 pillars at Carrabba's that we're working against every day. One is investing in our people. The other is investing in our guest. And the last, and probably most important, is simplifying operations. Because if we overcomplicate operations, it leads to a bad guest experience and a bad people experience for our folks. And so it really is the holy grail of success for Carrabba's. And putting more protein in those dishes really has turned into a win-win for everybody involved. And the way that we're able to pay for it is from a marketing perspective, is to turn that into a compelling message that the guest responds to, and they have.
We have a lot of people who feel like they're in sales or advertising or client services, and they want to move into a more strategic role in marketing. So what are your words of advice to help them understand what it is that they have to do, what they have to think about, what they have to experience, so that they can eventually move into that spot where they can start to look more from a strategic level at the business?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't think there's an easy answer. I would say for me, it starts with, it's got to be more than words, because a lot of people say they want to do something, but if they don't have the passion and the conviction for it, they're never going to get to do it. And if they do get to do it, they're not going to be very successful at it. And so I think they have to have those 2 things first and foremost. And then I think they have to ask themselves, and you got to be honest with yourself, right? Do you have the intellect for that? Are you curious? I just told the group of marketers out there, if they're not curious, they shouldn't be in marketing, because I think curiosity is one of the great fuels of great marketers. And because at the end of the day, marketing is all about getting a consumer to do what you want them to do and respond to a message or something. And to be in the strategic area of marketing, it's got to be driven by a great degree of curiosity. And a passion for analytics, because you really do spend a lot of time studying the math, studying the consumer, and then you got to tell somebody that's what you want to do.
Big decisions. You make big decisions.
Sometimes.
And you've made a lot of big decisions, and they're big, whether they turned out well or not. You have to make big decisions. What goes into your process, your thought process, when you're making huge decisions that really are going to affect the company in a large way?
Yeah, and it's funny, I spent a lot of time talking to my team about this very thing, maybe articulated a little differently, but one, we need the best information that we have available. I'd be lying if I said I never made a decision without a lot of information, because I have. Sometimes that's what we get paid for, is our gut and our intuition. But for the really big decisions, I want as much information as I can get. And what I talk to my team a lot about is, we're going to make the best decision at that time when we have the information, but we also have to be open to the fact that after we make that decision, we might get new information. And if we get new information, it might tell us that maybe that wasn't the best decision. We have to have the courage to undo that decision or make another decision that charts another course for us. And so, but it's all driven by the data that's available and the experiences around the table when we make these decisions.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate that. It was kind of a short little interview we wanted to have and take your time, but we appreciate whatever time you have. And
my pleasure. Anytime.
Much.
Yeah, thank you.